Wells Fargo is committed to fair and equitable compensation and to ensuring that our pay practices are consistent regardless of race, ethnicity, or gender.
Coming up, we will meet our next Trailblazer Award recipient, United States Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo.
What an honor to introduce Karen Lynch, the CEO and president of CVS Health. And we all know it, 300,000 colleagues transforming healthcare. And we know it. We visit the 10,000 pharmacy locations, the 1,000 mini clinics, and we know they're serving 34 million people with health insurance products. It is amazing to see Karen as CEO, and how fitting as a transformation leader for Karen to introduce our Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo. Why? Well, the Secretary of Commerce comes from Rhode Island, and CVS with that base and friendship in the great state of Rhode Island. With that, yes, a treat and a tribute, Karen Lynch. Karen?
Thank you so much, Edie. I'm excited to be here today, and it's my pleasure to introduce the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Gina Raimondo. Madam Secretary, it's so nice to see you.
It's fantastic to be with you, Karen. You're an incredible leader and a good friend, and I'm really excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you for that. You know, during your time as governor, CVS Health was so proud to work so closely with you to strengthen Rhode Island's workforce. You now hold yet another prestigious position, representing American business interests here and globally. And so first, I just want to say thank you for your continued leadership to empower businesses to hire, grow, and trade. And second, as you've been supporting business leaders, you've been a strong advocate for women and for diversity. So thank you so much for your distinguished advocacy and, most importantly, action. Now it is truly my honor to present you with the Women's Business Collaborative's 2021 Trailblazer Award. This award recognizes your commitment to advancing gender equality, diversity, and to increasing opportunities for women in business. So my heartfelt congratulations on this well-deserved, well-earned recognition. And thank you again for all that you're doing to make our country stronger and more competitive than ever.
Thank you, Karen. It is a beautiful award that I have received from you, and it is my great honor to have this award. WBC 2021 Trailblazer Gender and Diversity Award. And I want to say thank you. I will display it in my office with pride. As you know, this work matters to me, just as it matters to you. And I did everything I could as governor to provide opportunities for women, whether they were working for me in the government or women in the workforce in Rhode Island. And I hope to do that now in my new job at an even greater scale. Because we all know that women in particular were hit the hardest during this pandemic. Millions have dropped out of the workforce, and that's not okay. It's not okay for those women, and it isn't okay for our economy. So I will continue to be in this new role, very focused on workforce development, workforce training, and making sure that everybody, regardless of gender, regardless of zip code, regardless of the color of their skin, has a chance for good paying jobs and a decent career. And by the way, I will comment that my job is made much easier because of visionary principled leaders like you and employers like CVS that are deeply committed to creating jobs and doing it in a way that is equitable. So this, like you, I've received many awards. This one is special. And I have a lot of passion for it, and I can't thank you enough for the award.
I'm so thrilled to be able to give you this award, and I can't thank you enough. I look forward to continuing to work with you and alongside of you for hiring for equity and making women have much more opportunities. And I really look forward to our conversation. So let's get started. First, let me ask you, what are your priorities as secretary?
So my overall overarching priority is to do everything I can in my department, in my role, to enhance American competitiveness. There's so much talk now about China. There's talk about, has America fallen behind? The truth of it is, we need to compete. We need to invest in ourselves in order to run faster, be more innovative, and compete. So American businesses can compete on a global stage and American workers can compete. So that means investing in our infrastructure, as you and I have talked about. I'm on the President's Jobs Cabinet and working daily with Congress to pass the infrastructure bill. In order to compete, we need better roads, better bridges. Every American needs broadband, better infrastructure, et cetera. I'm going to have a big focus on worker training. There's a huge skills gap between the number of Americans who have digital skills, cyber skills, cloud computing skills, and the number that is needed, the demand by American industry for those skills. So I want to work in my capacity and to close that gap and make sure that folks have those skills. One area that I'm particularly focused on that is a top priority is semiconductors, which might sound boring, except every single business in America relies upon semiconductors for what they do. And right now we don't make enough in America, which puts us in a very vulnerable position. So that it is a top priority of mine in order to make that supply chain, deeper, more resilient, and frankly, made here in America.
Well, if there's anyone that can accomplish all those things, I know it's you. As you think about gender equity, diversity, and a more inclusive business environment, what are some of the challenges, that you see, especially as it relates to women in the workforce?
Well, one of the initiatives that I'm working hard on is what we're calling the care economy. So women can't go to work and be productive if they can't find or afford childcare or care for their elderly loved ones. I am at work today, productive, because my 90-year-old mother has a great care team, and my kids have great care and great schools. And now I'm lucky because I have the means to afford that. But the truth is, millions and millions and millions of women are struggling to re-enter the workforce or be productive in the workforce because this country's care infrastructure is inadequate. I just read a story the other day about a woman who had to give up her job as a paramedic, which was her career, which she loved, because she couldn't find and afford childcare. So she took a job as an Uber driver. She had an autistic son, so she could keep her son in the car with her all day while she drove the Uber. So what's my point? My point is, right now, we have 2.5 million women who've dropped out of the workforce during COVID. We have millions of women who are turning down promotions at work, all because of an inadequate infrastructure for home care, child care, pre-K, and elder care. And so now that I'm in a position to have an impact on that, I'm working on that, and I'm trying to educate members of Congress and even some in the business community that this does matter. Because if you want to tap into the massive potential of half of America's workforce, which is women, you have to get real about the realities and invest in the care economy.
I love that. And the care economy is really critical. And I applaud you for really pushing that agenda forward. And I'll look forward to, thinking about and creating ways to work with you on that. Tell me, Secretary, a little bit more about what your message today would be to aspiring businesswomen, and how do we empower them and elevate them in their careers?
Yes. So I would say, by the way, I should ask you this question because you have had a distinguished decades-long career of doing exactly that. If every leader did what you do, that would be, excellent. Because my point is, it's on us. It's on us who have achieved these positions of leadership to be there for the women who work for us, look for opportunities for them, look for opportunities to promote them, look for opportunities to support them, and to do that in kind of an institutional way. And so I cannot emphasize that enough. You have to have initiatives that find talented women early in their career and help them, find projects that are high profile and challenging so they can take on those projects and then support them so they can be successful. I think it has to be rooted in the work. Mentorship is important, but really it's seeking out women who want to succeed and are, talented, and putting them in positions to succeed. And so when, you look around your board table, there ought to be a third or more women. When you look around your executive, the C-level positions and the executive vice president positions, you ought to see women. And if you don't, it means you have more work to do, because I guarantee you, they're there in your organization. You have to find them, promote them, cultivate them, train them, and, highlight them. And so that's what we all have to do. And by the way, this is not charity work. I promise you, your organization will be more productive, more effective, and higher performance if you have more diversity at every level of that organization.
I couldn't agree more. And there's a big component of sponsorship, right? It's incumbent upon us that we sponsor women throughout the organization, take risks and take chances on them. So, as you think about your former role as governor of Rhode Island and now Secretary of Commerce, you have been an outstanding leading advocate for everything from STEM to closing the digital divide across the nation that you talked about earlier. How do we maintain the momentum and win in our expanding technology footprint?
I think it has to start early. So I really do worry that as a country, we're not producing enough talent in, what I would call digital skills. If you look at the industry's demand for people with digital skills, technical skills, it is skyrocketing. Every single business, you see this even at CVS, is becoming a digital business, a tech-enabled business. So one of the things I did as governor was, don't laugh, but we made sure that every kindergartner in Rhode Island, in every public school, had some computer science. Every kid in every grade in every public school, starting in kindergarten and every grade through 12th grade, took a version of computer science. And I think that initiative and initiatives like that to expose people to cybersecurity, digital design, cloud computing, engineering, software engineering, computer science is really essential. And also, if you do it in the public school system and you do it earlier, you will get kids of color, you will get girls, you will get kids in, poor neighborhoods, which is the right thing to do. And frankly, the only way that we're going to meet the talent demand that our industry needs to be competitive.
Yeah, I think it's great that you're building the pipeline and thinking about the future. You're at the WBC. They're promoting for more women leaders in the tech sector. How do you think we need to further that mission? And I think you spoke a lot about it in the last answer, but curious if there's more we could be doing in the tech sector.
I really think it has to be more intentional. This is doable, right? Like if you're serious about this as a goal and you're intentional about it, and you have strategies around increasing the number of women in a company, on a board, in an industry, it will happen. The problem is it tends to be an afterthought, not the agenda. And so as a result, we don't have the results we need. You know, I do laugh sometimes when I see advertisements for employees to go work at tech companies. You know, if you just look at the language, you know, it's like, are you ready to be a warrior? Are you ready to, you know, take on this fight? It's like, just everything. The language is male. The language is not trying very hard to attract women. So I just use that as a small example. I mean, if you're intentional about language, you're intentional about where you recruit, you're intentional about pipeline development, you're intentional about holding yourself accountable, which is to say, if you look around and you don't have any women, you have a problem and you have to fix it in a short period of time.
Yeah, my last question. What's your call to action in 2021 and beyond to increase women's leadership in business?
This is our chance. COVID put a big fat spotlight on the fact that we have a lot more to do to get women in the workforce and keep women in the workforce. So shame on us if we don't respond to that call to action. And so for me, I'm working really hard to get investments in this care economy. For executives such as yourself, you know, take a look at how you operate as a company and what more could be done. And for women who are in the workforce, step up, go for that promotion. Don't say no, go get some extra training, go back and go to school, go finish your degree. Like, let's look back 10 years from now and say, this was a turning point. COVID brought to the forefront the reality of inequality in our workforce, and let's use that to recommit ourselves and make some real changes.
Thanks so much for joining me today. It's so great to see you. This has been an awesome discussion, and once again, I want to congratulate you on your award. You and all this year's award winners are truly trailblazers for gender equality and diversity, and thank you again for everything you're doing every day to make a huge difference in America.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much.